There is a European standard of beauty, straight hair, and even with a certain type of curl if your hair is straight.
Yep.
And my hair doesn't fall into those guidelines.
Hey guys, it's Kirbie. Welcome back to Pretty Unfiltered. Today my guest, you guys know this boo. She's my boo. She's Josie from Riverdale. She's also going to be in the upcoming Valley Girl remake, which I am super psyched about. It's Ashleigh Murray.
Hello.
Hi. I'm so glad
It's about time. It literally is about time.
Okay guys, so we have a Twitter friendship romance.
We do?
It's a whole thing, and I was like, I really want you to come and be on the show. I'm so glad it finally worked out because she went and got her hair did last night.
I did. I got this little pony installed last night. Got my hair laid waves for days.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit about your upbringing. You're from Missouri, right?
Yes, I am.
Your first credit is a short film in 2007, is that
Yeah.
right? So tell me a little bit about how you got to where you are.
Gosh, it's where do I start?
Exactly.
Well, when I was 10, that's when I figured out that's what I wanted to do, was to be an actress.
Yep.
So I was in all the school plays. I took acting classes on the weekends. When I got to high school, I started to compete. We had competitive drama in the Midwest. Everybody knows what that's about.
I'm from Texas. I know one act plays.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
yes. The spring one act.
Yeah.
And that film that I did was the very first short, and my accent. I have a very country accent that I hide, and it comes out when I'm tired or angry or I've had tequila. I get mad country, and I can't even repeat how thick my accent was in that short. I watch it and I'm like, it's so thick. So I made every effort I could once I got to college in New York to get rid of that accent.
Not that it's a bad thing that you had an accent, but for your craft,
it helps.
Right?
It helps to get rid of those flat A's. In the Midwest, we talk in the back of our mouth. Everything's very flat and wide. And so I had to learn how to speak in the front, and it makes it easier to come in and out of other accents.
So tell the story about what happened before you got this job.
I was 3 or 4 months behind in rent.
Yeah.
At that point, I had sold my personal belongings just to afford groceries for the week. And it got to a point where I couldn't sell anything else. And if I didn't do something soon, that I was gonna have to move back to Kansas City, which wasn't an option.
Yep.
So I decided to, I was like, okay, I'm gonna make up this reason that I need to take a break from acting, and I was gonna go back to work full time, no auditions for a year. And then this audition for Riverdale came in, and I was like, okay, this is it. It's my last one. I'm not gonna do anymore. I didn't give a about whether or not I booked this job. I'm just gonna do what I think is right, and we'll see what happens. And then the next day, my manager called me, and she was like, so they're pinning you for the role. And I didn't know what that meant. And she was like, well, it just means that they're sticking a photo of you on the wall next to all the other actors that they want for this role. And I was like, okay, well, that's a big deal. It doesn't mean anything, but cool. And then 20 minutes later, it was, okay, they might be flying you to LA. And then another 20 minutes, it was like, okay, you're definitely flying to LA. They're gonna test you, so you have to bring, I think it was 20 headshots or something and resumes. Mind you, I didn't have any money. So I had to wash the outfit that I wore for the audition in the sink in my bathroom, and then went up the street and begged the guy at the dry cleaner that I always go to and was like, please dry these clothes for me. I used what was left on my Best Buy card to print out all of my headshots. I stayed up all night, almost missed the flight, got to LA. I did the audition. I was the last one to go in. I was blinking one eye at a time. I was so tired. And I got home to the hotel, and they were like, okay, you advanced to network, because I had tested for the studio first. And then I went in on Monday, and I tested, and I got back to the hotel, and there was a tray of chocolate-colored strawberries and champagne. And I thought it was from my reps, because I was like, oh, it's my first, test. This is really nice. Mm-hmm. And I called them, and immediately my manager was like, call the police, because nobody knows you're there. We don't know who. And it turned out it was a very sweet, pre-congratulatory gift from the network and the studio on offering me the role.
That is amazing. You were like, I'm running out of money, and I would have to move back to Missouri, and that wasn't an option.
No, it was
and
not an option.
That's how you know when you, A, love what you're doing, and B, that you're meant to be doing what you're doing.
Yeah. I only brought it up because I remember seeing a comment somewhere. This is why I can't stand social media sometimes. Mm-hmm. I saw a comment somewhere, and they were like, is that even true? Did she even really go through that? Yes, I did. It's true. I was broke as and I didn't have any money, and it sucked. I was working 4 jobs at a time at one point just to be able to make rent, and I couldn't make rent. I just barely paid for my bills. Like, it's not easy to do this career. Like, it's very, very difficult, and you sacrifice so much. And not everybody is lucky enough to make it. I'm very lucky to be where I am, and 100%. I'm grateful for that. But I worked very, very hard to get here.
You busted your butt. So when you got the role, was there anything about Josie that you wanted to make sure was included in terms of her character, especially being a female lead on a show, but also a woman of color?
I did. I wanted to exude a type of strength and confidence that I feel like I had when I was her age, but, you know, being the adult that Ashleigh is, I wanted to bring a little bit more nuance to that maturity.
Totally.
And it's not so palatable. A lot of people, they perceive that confidence as like anger and like bossiness and sassiness, which is an unfortunate rhetoric that women of color like unrightfully carry, and that's something that I try to kind of like sidestep. If there's a scene in front of me and it seems like, okay, obviously somebody's mad or somebody's upset, I try to change the intention so that it doesn't come off so angry. Because people are, you know, you sit down, you watch TV, a lot of times you don't really want to think. You don't want to do that much work.
Yeah.
So it helps me as an actor to make sure that the point you're getting is why she doesn't want to do this, why she doesn't have time for that, why she doesn't like play no games.
Josie and Archie have actually had conversations about this, about race.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you had said, I believe it was in the first season, was that you're like, you can't write your songs for me because you don't have my perspective.
Yes.
Like, this is a whole different thing. And he kind of was like, what are you, you're just really good. I just wanted your help. And people are like, Josie, like, why?
Yeah, why are you so
way?
mean? Why don't you help
give him a
Why
chance.
don't you do this? It plays into this idea of, oh, well, I like to do this and there's somebody else that's doing it. Well, you should help me too. It's like taking pictures on social media and becoming a sensation overnight. You know, there are people who do the work behind the scenes and get all of the no's. That's what's so important to success, is to fail.
Yep.
And if you're asking for somebody to give you success, don't be shocked when they say no to you, because they've worked so hard to get that. It's one thing to want to learn from someone, and it's another to want to take what they have and then run with it. So that's more of what what I wanted to talk about in that scene.
Exactly. So over the summer, you tweeted an amazing clapback to someone.
Did I? What was it?
It was basically a clapback to everyone who is constantly confusing you with other women of color. And you're like, my booze, please get your life right. So how did you get to the point where you're finally like, screw it, I have to say something about this?
You know, I was doing commercials and stuff before I got on Riverdale, and I had so many friends, like, they would see a commercial and either call me or tag the commercial picture on Facebook or whatever and be like, is this you? And I'm like, that girl is literally 18 shades darker than me and 5 feet taller. That's not me. I don't understand. Like, are we
and you're
friends?
Like, you're my friend.
Exactly. Like, you don't know me. So it got to a point where it was just so blatantly obvious. You know, it's like you claim that you love these people, and yet you are confusing them, and they are nothing alike. It's not okay. It's like nobody's confusing me for Cole. You know what I mean? Like, It's just like there's a level of respect that isn't there, and somebody's got to say something. Like, I don't believe in allowing behavior to without commenting on it, because then, like, how do you know if anything is going to change?
Amen, sister. Okay, so I want to bring this up. You're 29, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm 30, so we can level. You're the eldest playing a high schooler.
Yes.
Okay, so how do you think your age has helped you with this overnight success, this instant fame, so to speak, as compared to if you were maybe 18?
I think it has helped me a lot. It's been a difficult thing to come to terms with, because where everyone else is, all of my castmates on the show are where I wanted to be at that age. And to see where I am now at this age, I know that when I was 21, 22, 23, 24, I was very mature, but I was not ready for this.
Yeah.
And as much as I wanted it, it was not right. So I got it exactly when I was supposed to, because all of the things that I am now having to deal with, I know that I probably would have crumbled at a young age.
All right, let's talk about your hair. I think this is something that everybody has been asking me about specifically. Ask Ashleigh about her hair. We love her hair. It's amazing. So I'm curious, you know, you like to, and maybe it's you, maybe it's, you know, the hairstylist on set, but Josie's always changing her hair.
Yes.
And you like to have a lot of fun with it.
I do.
But do you remember a time where your hair was an insecurity, or have you always been proud of it?
My hair was an insecurity when I was younger because everybody's hair was straight.
Yep.
You know, there is a like European standard of beauty, straight hair, and even with like a certain type of curl if your hair is straight.
Yep.
You know, and my hair doesn't fall into those guidelines. And so all of the girls around me always had their hair straight. And I wanted my hair straight. My mom was not about it. Like, I've never had a perm my entire life. I'm never going to have one. And it wasn't until I had my first breakup. I was in an 8.5-year relationship. It was the first, like my first love, all that. When we finally ended, I had to rebrand myself.
Yeah.
And I threw myself into my hair and I figured out how am I supposed to really be taking care of it. Because I was always doing my hair when I was in high school. Like, I had 3 and 4 different hairstyles in a week. And I use that bit of myself and I bring that to Josie. That's why her hair is always different. I'm just trying to keep you on your toes.
Yeah, I'm like, what's this week?
It's inspirational and it also helps because there are a lot of girls nowadays who are trying to make the transition into natural hair. And it's very frustrating, and it is a job the same way it is if your hair is chemically straightened. Like, you just have a different routine. You need to love it. You know, it takes a lot of love and a lot of patience. And if I can share some of that patience and that, you know, some of the ideas and help, I am more than happy to. So I like to bring that part of Ashleigh to Josie and share it with everyone else.
And also, we're gonna have an editorial on the site where Ashleigh's gonna talk more about her natural hair journey. We'll put the link in the comments below. Okay, Twitter user Spashleigh 4I or 4L, I can't tell, wants to know if you have any advice for your natural hair sisters on their journey.
I do. Be patient. Be very, very gentle with yourself, because there are gonna be days where you wanna cut it off, and there are gonna be days where you're like, yes, God. And don't be afraid to try anything. I know it sucks because so much of the natural hair products are so expensive.
Totally.
It's a lot of money, and I've spent so much money. But once you find what works for you, it's gonna feel so good. And if it's not working, don't be afraid to just start over and cut it off. Like, I'm kind of at a point now in my life where I'm like, I think I'm gonna cut it off. You know, those feelings change. Like, I'm in a bit of a love-hate relationship right now with my hair, but please just be patient. And there's nothing wrong with straightening your hair. There's nothing wrong. That's the beauty of natural hair, is that you can literally do anything with it. So just have fun. Don't be so hard.
Wise words. All right, Ashleigh, before we let you go, anything that you can tell us about Valley Girl?
I just know when it's coming out. It's coming out June 29th.
So you know we've had Chloe and Jessica on the show.
No.
Yeah, it's like now it's the trifecta.
Oh,
we've had all 3 of y'all. It's amazing. Like, thank you so much for coming on the show. I am so glad you're here. We're kindred spirits.
We are.
I can't wait to see you. Your star is just gonna keep rising and rising and rising. All right, guys, let me know your favorite part of this interview with Ashleigh. If you have any other questions, ask in the comment section. She might pop on and answer a few of them. All right. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time. Adios.